liberty, and justice for all. Thank you. And now we'll have the reading of our vision statement.
Yes, we will. Richmond Community Schools, a community nurturing mind, body, and spirit to prepare students for lives of choice, purpose, and service.
Thank you, Susie. And now the reading of our mission.
Richmond Community Schools guide students on pathways of learning to a future of limitless possibilities.
Thank you. And now we are ready to hear about our showcase video for this evening.
Mr. Tidrow, would you like to introduce it?
All right, thank you. This is a continuation of our Joy of Learning with the Operations Department highlights. This video tonight will focus on two major departments, transportation and facilities and maintenance. And I wanted to point out it's also another fine production by Jake Allen, our student intern. So we'll get it going.
A lot of my job is managing relationships, relationships with the drivers, relationships with the parents, relationships with our customer, who is Richmond Community Schools.
I've been driving for student transit for the past 6 years. I do enjoy it. This is a job that requires a lot of patience because you have to deal not only with the children, but also with the parents. So it does require a lot of patience. I think that is very important. It protects us as well as it protects the children. Sometimes we could have an argument, a parent does not agree with the way we talk to the children or their particular child, and we can always go back and review to make sure that either the driver did the correct thing or that the child was not doing what he was asked to do. As you can see, we have the kids' name, their grade, and also we have their stop. In case one day I'm not able to work that particular day for some reason, whoever is doing the route can see who the child is and where he goes.
My job title classification is area manager. I've worked for the corporation for 26 years. Well, we have kind of two sections in the maintenance. We have two area managers. We have one more for the carpentry side, and we have one for the mechanical side. I am on the mechanical side, and I have 3 direct employees under me. Well, we have 18 buildings in our system, and some of them are closed, and that includes administration building, bus garage, and stuff like that. So we have about 1.5 million square feet of property we take care of. The biggest thing is a lot of our work is behind the scenes, the skeleton, if you will, of the buildings. You have basically two sections of the building. You have the building envelope, which is outside. There's the windows, doors, security roofs, things of that nature. Then you have the skeleton of the core of the building, of the hydronics systems, which is the heating and cooling systems to help the students and staff have a safe, comfortable learning environment.
Well, we've done projects with planting trees at Charles School, and I have some come in and work on the CAD machine, doing drawings for the school system. We've been involved in the gardens around 3 or 4 different buildings, putting the gardens in, helping them get them ready. All maintenance employees work 12 months a year.
Thank you.
So later on, we have an operations highlight. We also asked when Sliker to be here, so he'll come up and say a few things.
Okay.
Thank you.
Great, thank you. And thanks to Jake Allen. He's done a fantastic job. I'm assuming that his internship is going to be coming to a close soon.
I think we have one more month with him
Okay, great,
before
good.
he goes to college.
Okay, we are now to the public commentary part of our meeting. Anyone from the public wishing to speak tonight? No? Seeing none, we will go on to consent items.
We have several consent items tonight with the approval of the minutes, but basically our recommendation from Human Resources. The Human Resources also contains an addendum which probably could grow in length tomorrow if we were to.
Well, that's where I've been, it just
That's where you've
did.
been.
It
Yes.
grew again.
Okay. So the addendum, as is posted to the web, is accurate right now?
Yes.
Okay. Recommendation from accounts payable, also recommendation for the filing of reports, which would be our monthly financial report, and the biannual financial report. Those items I recommend for approval for consent.
Okay, motion made by Susie Hively, seconded by Jeff Slifer. Comments or questions?
I just had one question. On the biannual financial report, is the exceptions that just, is that the is that the transfers, the interfund?
That's the interfund transfers, yes.
That's my only question.
I had a question about that too, but I think I'll just wait and bring it up during our budget tutorial.
Okay, that would be fine. Okay, we will go ahead and vote on this before we have our, some of our new people
Sure.
come forward.
Mhm.
So all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
In the audience, we do have some of our new staff members. We have Aaron Mayo, who will be at the Hibbard Building, and he will be working in early college. We also have Dan Addington, who will be at the high school, and he'll be working in special education with our, with math inclusion. Would you like? to meet
Sure,
them?
come forward. I recognize one of the young men. He probably doesn't want to admit that we have encountered one another. Right, Aaron?
Yes, I will gladly admit to it. It's been years, though.
I was Aaron's fifth grade teacher, I believe, so. Well, welcome to both of you, and we are so excited to have you become a part of our community. And so Aaron, tell us a little bit about you and again, what you're going to be teaching this next year.
Not a problem. My name is Aaron Mayo. I was born and I've been living in Richmond for all 24 years of my life. I attended Richmond Community Schools and graduated in 2009. I went to Earlham College for my undergrad and then my grad schooling. I like to tell this mostly because it gives a lot of perspective into my character. I went to Earlham because it was 7 blocks away from home and I didn't know how to do laundry.
They taught you that.
All serious.
That's probably more truth than you know.
In all seriousness, history has always been my passion, and I will be an English teacher mixing social studies with English, and then I accepted to do 5th grade math as well.
Great, welcome, Aaron, and good to see you again. You make me proud. And Dan?
My name is Daniel Addington. I grew up in Homedale, Idaho. So I'm not from this area, but I've been here for 8 years. I went to Western Governors University. It was an online program, which I'm going to get my master's degree while I'm teaching in special education. While during this process, I'm 33 years old and waiting for a baby within the week.
Oh, wow.
Fantastic.
Well, great.
Congratulations on many counts.
He actually called to see if there were any meetings scheduled so that they could have the baby before school started. So,
Well, we look forward to hearing about that little one. Well, welcome to both of you.
Thank your
Anyone-
wife for being such a team player, I would say.
Yes. Anyone else have any comments?
He's going to be missed at Vail, because they're one of their parapros at Vail.
Oh, okay,
Very important person over there.
great. Well, thank you both, and good luck to you.
Welcome.
Have a great year.
We also have two people who have been appointed to the position of principal and assistant director of special education. So, Rayanne Sherman, would you like to come up? And Carrie Wolf, please come up. You've appointed Rayanne Sherman to be the principal at Vail, and she has been a staff member there. I'll let her tell more about her background, but Carrie Wolf, maybe you haven't seen her because she's one of those background, very important people in our our exceptional education department. Barb, would you like to speak?
Sure. I think Carrie started out with Dr. Parker over at the Early Learning Center and had a station there and was teaching, and then she went into the area of educational diagnostician, which is achievement testing, and she has been very busy the last couple of years as we have reduced the position of school psychologist. So she has picked up a lot of the testing for referrals or retesting. So she received her principal's license a couple years ago and has been working, wanted to stay in the area of special education, and going to work on her director's license. So we're excited.
Well, great. We are thrilled that you are going to continue with us, but in a different position, both of you. So, Ray, you wanna start and tell us all about you? And
Well, I'm not going to tell you how old I am because a lady never tells her age. But I have been, this will be my 16th year with Richmond Community Schools. I started at C.R. Richardson and was there for 13 years and taught kindergarten, 3rd grade, and 4th grade. I also did intervention with 2nd through 6th graders. And the last couple years I was at CR, I became the instructional coach. And then when CR was closed, I went to Vail. So this will be my 3rd year at Vail. And I've lived in this area my whole life, except for the 4 years that I went to Purdue University. Don't hold that against me if there's any IU people.
Yes.
And it's been amazing how many of the teachers and staff members at Vail, they've been so supportive. And I've gotten calls and texts and emails, and people have sent me messages on Facebook just congratulating me and telling me how excited they are for this school year. So that's made me feel really good. There's even been a couple parents that have found me on Facebook and have congratulated me, so they're excited also. And the teachers at Vail are amazing, so I'm very excited to help lead them this next school year.
great. And good luck to you.
Thank you.
Carrie.
Hi. I'm extremely excited for this opportunity. Special education has always been my passion. I kind of found a home here in Richmond Community Schools too. I'm from Liberty, but same as Richmond, we're all pretty close. But prior to this, I was an educational diagnostician doing testing for the last 4 years here in Richmond. Before that, I had gone to Florida for a year. I wanted to get a little sunshine, I guess, and I taught in a severe behavioral disorder school. It was a whole building just for special needs students, and really enjoyed it, but it wasn't home. So I was very thankful when an opportunity opened back up in Richmond, and I could come back to Richmond since I had started my career with Richmond Community Schools fresh out of college. I really felt like this was where I wanted to be. I felt very comfortable with all the people I worked with and the support I got. I just had a new baby 2 months ago, and I told my husband, having my administrative license, he said, "Now, are you going to apply for any jobs?" I said, "Oh, no, not with a new baby." I said, "I'm not going to take on a new role right now," and I said, "I'm just going to be a mom," and then I said, "Unless, of course, the perfect opportunity comes up," and I guess you have to be careful what you wish for, because it did become available, and I'm very excited to take the next step in my career here at Richmond Community Schools. And again, like Rayanne said about her staff, I've had a lot of great support from everybody, great staff at CYS, and looking forward to the new role.
Well, we're excited about having both of you in those roles, and we want to support you all we can, and best of luck, and have a great year.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we're ready to celebrate the joy of learning.
What we're going to do is come back to that. At 6:15, we will have a reception commemorating or celebrating the early college, and then they'll be coming back here, and we'll resume with them in the room. So for right now, I'd like to go on to the reports, discussion topics.
There we go.
And we'll ask Mr. Tidrow to come back to the podium and rejoin you.
All right, thank you. This is, I'm going to give you a little refresher on our operations department. You've seen this before, but we are live tonight, so those out in TV land can see it. And I'm going to ask Mr. Slifer to join me, Mr. Glenn Slifer. He wants to join me at the podium. I want to break down again our operations department. We have the food services, maintenance and facilities, environmental services, student transit. We have Mrs. Darengowski who represents that area. We have technology, again, facilities, and then the building safety with Mr. Glenn Slifer. I asked Mr. Hamilton to be here, John. He was scheduled to be here, but he's had to take a bereavement day. He had actually 2 things he had to visit for that. So, but I did say I would talk about him a little bit, so there we go. I asked Glenn to be here to talk about some of the HVAC, which is the heating and air conditioning systems that we have in the district, and how that prepares us and how that contributes to our student learning process. So I'm just going to turn it over to Glenn here. So.
Well, hello, everybody. Thanks for having me here. Rob, thank you.
You're welcome.
I can bore you with a lot of details about some heating and air stuff, but I won't. I'll spare you. He asked me earlier how long I'm going to talk. I said 35 minutes, and his eyes got that big. And I said, okay, just a minute. Just about 60 seconds or so, and I'll be done. So I kind of want to start off by saying, with the shortened summer break this year, with the students coming back August 6th, I believe that's about 6 days earlier from last summer. This has been another amazing year this summer with the HVAC projects going on in 4 different buildings. We got a new adhered roof, rubber roof going on at Westview. We got a new track installed, looking fabulous over at Tiernan Center High School area. And then of course, we have some other associated projects, a lot smaller projects going along throughout the course as well. But for example, the HVAC projects will enhance the indoor air quality of these buildings. It will be much better with humidity and temperature control. That will not only promote, but provide a safe learning environment for all staff and students involved. So we're very excited about that. That's more of my field of the mechanical, so, I pay a little more attention to that. Not that I don't pay attention to the rest of the stuff. So, it's going well. Everything is going to be online, start of school, and going forward. And this was all achieved by us. When I say us, I mean the whole corporation, everybody in this room and the others not, partnering up and teaming up, reaching out with contractors for help. So we've had a lot of people's help to achieve this process. And it's been amazing watching these projects come to an end and finishing up. So, you know, everybody's been working together to achieve the same goal of readiness for the start of school. We're all excited and ready to go, and I personally want to thank everybody involved that had a hand in it, from our staff to the contractors, to make this happen. So I appreciate the opportunity. I won't bore you any longer, although I can, if you want me to. But I thank you again.
Well, part of that teamwork involves also working with the buildings. This summer, we did something a little unique. We met with the building principals a couple months prior to the end of the school year. We talked to them about when the contractors are in those buildings, they pretty much own those classrooms. So what we did was we asked that the teachers and the other staff stay out of those buildings as much as possible so that our contractors could get in there and get the job done that they needed. And we'll reactivate those access points again Friday, which is right on schedule. We also utilized our environmental services people by tag teaming them or SWAT teaming them around the district. So if we had unit events going in at Vail, we took that custodian and moved him to a different spot in the district to help out. We also did the same thing with Westview. We put him over at Dennis to help out there. And all this did was help get those buildings ready. And then when the other buildings were available, we could then SWAT team back on those that were being contracted. So that helped out a lot. Mr. Hamilton coordinated that quite a bit. When he was out, say on vacation, Mr. Slifer picked up that, and same when Mr. Slifer was out. John picked up on that, on the scheduling and so forth. I also wanted to point out a few other things with the summer projects. We have the track. We've got lanes painted, and we're going to do another coat tomorrow when it stops raining, so that'll be ready to go. We've had great coordination with Chad Bolzer and his staff and all the coaches and the team members. As they cross over that new track, we put down some pads there so that they keep the cleats and so forth off of that new surface. And they've done a real good job of staying on those mats to protect that, that new track. Over at the high school as well, we've done some improvements to the stairwells in the original part of the building. All 3 floors, we've stripped those down and replastered them, put a nice coat of paint on there. And if you get a chance in the next couple weeks, check those out. There was a few problems before, but they look excellent now. We've done some renovation to some restrooms and offices out at the bus garage. Those are right on schedule as well. And the Univent projects, all of the Univents are turned on, and they're cooling. And then the next phase is allow Mr. Slifer to control those from a distance, from his desktop or from his laptop and so forth. So, also, along with operations, you'll see on your desk there some swag from our Tech Expo we had last week. We got a bag, we had a pen with a pointer on the end of it, and a lanyard. We have some extras over there if anybody else would be willing to take it. We also have our brochure that we handed out and we had online for the attendees, and you can see not only our keynote speaker, but also the workshop speakers we had from around the state. And some of those people were right here from Richmond Community Schools. We had Mr. Shamel from our e-learning. Kirsten Phillips did some sessions. I threw in a couple sessions on Pinterest, which was a popular. Mrs. Bergdahl was at one of those sessions. And then on the back, you can see the people who sponsored the businesses that sponsored our program, and we really appreciate that. So, other than that, do you have any more?
No, sir. I think you very much covered it.
Well,
Questions, or?
I just wanted to thank Glenn and John Hamilton in his absence for your leadership and for everything that you do to keep things running smoothly in our buildings. Some of those things I know that you can't see them, but when the air conditioning isn't working, then you certainly know it. So, and we count on you. So thanks for all of your work and leadership, because it is very much appreciated.
Thank you. I didn't get to ask my list of questions. No, just kidding.
I told Glenn that I was going to keep you under control. So thank you, and thank
Right.
you, Rob,
Thank
for
you.
sharing.
Thanks for the
Your-
opportunity to talk about.
You're
what we do.
done now.
All right,
You're
thank
done.
you.
For the second quarter financial information, we turn to Mrs. Scalf.
Good evening. We are going to go through much of the same presentation that I presented to you, I guess it was last April. And if you have questions, please stop me. What you'll see is probably not a drastic change from what you saw in April. Once school starts and we get our ADM and our enrollments are set, you will see some probably nominal changes in the next quarter's session, but this time it's going to look fairly familiar to you. Our cash flow for the end of June also reflects the balances that you'll note in the biannual financial report that you saw earlier. And the revenue, you will notice that from the last quarter, we've gained 1% in other revenue, and that was due to indirect costs. Every June, we take indirect costs based on the expenditures in a number of our grant-funded funds. Our expenditures reflect pretty much the same percentage base for teacher salary and benefits, non-teacher salary and benefits, supplies, equipment, and all of the areas where we spend money. Month-to-date comparison of revenue and expenditures. This is over last year at the same time. You will see that our expenditures are pretty much the same. The revenue is larger. That is due to all-day kindergarten funding that is now officially 1 year into the new process, and enrollment growth last year. Year-to-date comparison, expenditures and revenue, we are catching up. And looking ahead, this is our income and expense report that you're accustomed to. And the revenue report, you'll see that we are projecting basically the same revenue for next year. Expenditures are fairly similar as well. We do expect an uptick in health insurance due to the Affordable Care Act compliance that we will be moving towards in 2015, and utility costs increasing. Are there any questions? Okay. Thank you.
Are you ready to transition into the budget report?
I am. Is everyone else ready is the question. All right, this year we'll just work straight into the budget, and what you're going to find is you have a packet at your station with the 2015 budget that I'm going to submit to the state once you have approved it. And this is going to look a little bit different than in years past. The Department of Local Government Finance has officially transitioned to online reporting completely, and so everything is going through the gateway this year. All of your forms are printable and accessible, not only for us and for you, but also for the public. So that is why you're going to see some of these forms look quite different than what you've seen in the past. And we are going to go through that tonight so that as you review them in preparation for the public hearing and the approval, you know what you're looking at. So these are your review of the budget. One thing to note, these were just finished yesterday afternoon, so you have gotten them as quickly as I possibly could to you. And we're going to start with the timeline of events. And the budget process basically is going to allow you a couple weeks to review what you have before you make any determinations. And then we will move to advertising. This year we're going to ask permission to advertise on August the 13th. We plan to publish August the 15th and the 22nd. Next year there will be a change, and publication will actually occur only on Gateway. So it won't be in the Palladium item anymore. It will strictly be online. Unless legislation changes, the capital projects plan and the bus replacement plan will continue to be advertised in the paper, but they are looking to make a directive toward doing those online as well with Gateway. The public hearing is currently set for August 27th. Adoption is set for September the 10th. And certification, I'm going to expect on or before January 15th. Now we're going to take a look at the actual budget forms. And we're going to start with Form 1. And Form 1 is the first section in your packet. It's what's called the budget estimate. And this is the estimated expenses per fund by program. And by program, it means elementary, middle school, high school, maintenance, administration, professional development. All of those services are broken down at levels like that. It includes salaries, benefits, services, water, insurance and travel, supplies, utilities, equipment, and fees and dues. This is our appropriation section of our budget. So it does not reflect our actual cash, but it is our appropriation. We'll move to Form 2. Form 2 is your next section. This is our estimate of miscellaneous revenues. One thing to note as you're looking at this, when preparing a budget for tax rates, you always estimate your revenue low and your expenditures high in order to maximize your rates and levies. The next section is Form 3. Form 3 is a very important form. It's what actually is seen in the newspaper. It reflects each taxing district, or each taxing fund, I'm sorry, and it shows the amounts that we're estimating to need. And as you'll see, some funds are need-driven, like debt service and pension bond, where we have an amortization schedule that sets in place how much we need each year. Some are rate capped, such as CPF. Our CPF cap right now is 32 cents, and that has to be balanced with the pension bond. Some are levy capped, transportation and bus replacement. Those are percentage increases set by the state. This year, transportation is set at 2.7% growth factor. That is lower than in years past. Some are state controlled, which is the general fund, and that's based on your ADM. And then some are board controlled, which that's rainy day, and nothing can be done without your approval and your direction. The next form you will see is Form 4, and this is the resolution of the appropriations, and this is your approval form that you will sign on the 10th when the budget is approved. It is basically a reiteration of the Form 3, but it also includes the adopted tax rates that we are going to advertise and show in the budget forms. Form 4A is a new form, and this was new last year. It replaced the 1S, and that is basically a report of expenditures by object code. And object code is salaries, benefits, professional services, supplies, utilities, etc. So that's what you'll see in Form 4A. 4B is your next set of forms, and that is what used to be called the 16-line statement. This is the reflection of what we expect for the remainder of this year and next year. It goes through each fund, and it starts with 2014, the last 6 months of what we expect in expenditures and need. And then it moves forward to your cash balance that you estimate to have at the end of the year. And you add to that any miscellaneous revenue that you may get during that period. And you come up with a balance. And then if you want any operating balance, you put that in the next line. Subtract and add and do all of the division, and you end up with what is your estimated levy and your estimated tax rate. Just remember, we always advertise those high, and they come in quite a bit lower as you look at it. The next section is not a slide, and that is your financial worksheets. These are worksheets that are required by the DLGF so that you can understand where the numbers came from in the 4B. So as you look at those, they are calculations that are brought forward in the 4B, and if you have questions, feel free to ask as you go through it. The last two sections are our plans, and the first one is our bus replacement plan. You'll see up on the screen that we do have 60 buses in our fleet, and last year we replaced 3. We had 4 on the plan, and due to cash, we could only replace 3. So this year's plan actually was 2 to be replaced, but because we needed to replace that extra, or the one from last year, we went ahead and are asking for 3 buses to be replaced to get us back on schedule. One thing to note, you'll see in 2022, we have 10 buses to replace. Due to the levy cap that they have put in place, it is unlikely that our cash balance is going to be able to be built up enough at that time to not see some impact in the tax rate. That's just something to keep in mind when we get there. We've got a little bit till we get there, but it is possible to see a change in rate at that time.
But we should get through 2018 with 9?
Possibly. I have planned in the budget to provide, I've asked for additional cash balance. I am not sure with the change in the legislation what that will look like when it comes in. So I'll know more once I see that in January. But at this time, I'm expecting that we'll be able to grow that balance a little bit, that we should be able to support that. But at this time, I don't have a solid answer on that.
Because it looks like, just looking at it real quick, you got 9 in 2018, 7 in 2019.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's very possible in 18 we'll see an increase to the tax rate. And your last group is the capital projects plan. What you will notice is you will have the notice to taxpayers and the notice to adopt, as well as a resolution adopting the plan in your first couple documents. And then behind that is the actual plan itself. It is district-wide, and then it breaks down into building level, and then it will come back at the end with a summary. And the summary is posted up on the screen for your review. Some highlights of the budget this year. 2015 budget legislation does continue to allow for the outside provisions, and that's textbook rental and capital projects. 2015 textbook rental will be $45,312, and the capital projects fund will be able to utilize $1,384,393 for utilities and insurance. Levy neutrality from the pension bond will continue to affect the capital projects fund in 15, and that is in the amount of $1,723,180. That will continue until 2020. And circuit breaker credits will also impact CPF. The estimates are right now at 2014 levels. Enrollment for this budget has been projected at 4,764.
Can I, just as a reminder, I know about the outside provisions because we've talked about it a couple of times in the past, but legislation each year has to approve the application of that outside provision.
Yes.
So have we ever, I mean, if they decide at any given, I don't see them doing it because then they'd have to fund it, but at any given time, I mean, we need to realize that that could be a general fund hit of 1.4 million.
Right.
So-
Absolutely.
Which also has an impact on what we're able to do with our capital projects because we're paying utilities and insurance out of that, so.
This is outside provision, so it's actually out of our rate cap. So it would be, it would not change our CPF total rate at all.
Not at all.
Not at all. It would not give us an additional 1.4 in that fund if it went away.
The question you raise, or the point you raise, is being raised by board members and superintendents around the state, and it has been. This is not a good fix to the financial needs, but it's the best the General Assembly has seen to be able to provide.
It's been going on for 8, 9, 10 years.
It's been a while.
Is that an increase in enrollment? Or is it?
No, because we want to project revenue low, it is not. It's very close to last year, what we estimated for budget purposes. I do not expect enrollment to come in right there, but because we want to reflect a lower revenue, we use that number.
Okay.
All right, an overview of how the transition from an advertised budget to a certified budget happens. This is 2014 numbers. We advertised a budget of $49,436,907, and when everything came in, we had a budget of $46,464,020. So you will see we advertise high and it comes in lower. For 2015, over 2014 advertised numbers, we are going to advertise a budget of $50,040,483. Last year, like I stated earlier, $49,436,907 was advertised. And this has to do with not only the transportation growth factor, but also changes in the debt service and the pension bond amortization needs. Tax rate comparison, this is 2013, 14, and 15. This reflects what we originally advertised and then what the actual rates were set at in December and January. This year, I'm estimating a tax rate of 0.6938. We always estimate a little high. I do expect it to come in lower than that, a little bit. Is there any questions? Feel free to stop by my office if you need to, if you want to review the budget at any time. I am there to help answer any questions you might have. And I thank you.
Thank you, Karen.
That puts us right on schedule.
Hey. That was as if we really planned it.
We need to take a break to join our early college teachers and students for a reception in the lobby, and then we will resume our meeting with them right here in the next few minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's good. We advertised 50 million, point one,
I don't do
50.1,
sweets that often, but right
50.3
now
I know.
million.
I just feel like a food.
Almost got
Tweet.
through it all.
Oh, no. So the advertised budget was 449.4.
Linda,
And in 2015,
I'm
was-
prepared to talk a little bit about the dates and stuff now that I've floundered around.
Okay, good, good.
If our technicians would like to put us back on. We're live again, and Dr. Schlichty, would you like to introduce these students who are part of our next early college preparatory academy cohort?
Well, it is an awesome privilege, there's no doubt. It's always one of my favorite nights, and you can absolutely see why. I'm very blessed and thankful I had to move so many extra chairs in. And that's a good thing. And parents, thank you. Thank you, families, for being here, because you are one of the reasons they're sitting in those chairs. Tonight, we are going to be introducing to the Board of Trustees two very special groups, the Cruising into the Future program students who are housed at Denison Test, and we're also going to be introducing the Early College Preparatory Academy students who will be at Hibbert. All of these students candidated for these two programs, and the program that looked best for the kid was chosen for them. And as you all know, when they reach the high school, the two programs join together as one and become the RHS Early College, provided the students rise to the expectations of their individual program and meet the requirements, which are high academics, good college presence, learning to serve others, and just being a great leader in the community. This is what makes it very, very important. Before we introduce folks, we're going to show you a very short DVD. And what the DVD does is it shows you the big picture. This is what you're heading for, the RHS Early College. So you expect victory and you make victory. And that's what we are anticipating from every last one of you in your 2 programs. And tonight, we have some special people who are going to help introduce you to the board. But before we do that, I just want to say to this Board of Trustees, thank you. Oh, well, you all know I cry all the time. And the bottom line is this: your support has meant so much, and what you have done for these children, joining their parents in such a great mission and a great vision, means a lot. So, since I am going to gladly turn this over to a couple of special people, I am going to allow Kirsten Barbary, who represents communities and schools and is going to tell you what her role is, and Brad Pitcher, who is the welcoming face at Early College Preparatory Academy. The 2 of them are going to give you a little bit of an introduction of some very special people. Are there any other early college teachers here right now? And also Mrs. Gibbs is over here, who is the building principal for Hibbard. We are blessed to have a wonderful team. Kirsten, take it away.
Hi, I'm Kirsten Barbary, and I work with communities and schools at the Hibbard Program Building, as well as help aid in assisting college and career awareness at the intermediate level. And so part of my job with the early college program is to help with the scoring through the candidacy process. So I have the opportunity to meet each of these students. And I have to say, they're a wonderful group of kids. It was so much fun going through candidacy, and I have to say to the parents, compliments to you all for what you've done to support your students in getting to this point. Another part that I play with the early college program is the Cruising into Your Future mentoring program, which is basically a support mechanism to support the early college students through their middle school tenure, through 8th grade until they reach the high school, where the 2 programs meet at the Early College Preparatory Academy at the high school. And so part of my job is to garner mentors with a variety of different institutions here in the community, which includes Ivy Tech, IU East, Earlham, as well as other community members participate, and they meet once a week with groups of students to keep college mindset at the forefront. And they do different kinds of career exploration and a variety of different activities. So it's a unique and wonderful position to be in. So parents, if you ever have any questions, give me a call at Hibbard. I'll be happy to help. Thank
you. Good evening. I'm Brad Pitcher. I am the 5th grade teacher at Hibbard Intermediate, which makes me pretty much, for those of you wearing gray shirts, your teacher for the next school year. In addition, my second role is also as the point person for all 5th grade questions. So parents, no matter what school you go to, Test, Dennis, or Hibbard, anytime you have program direct questions, you can feel free to either call or email me. As we move forward, our goal is to provide intensive training in developing a college presence. My job is to take the first few steps with them. The goal, obviously, is as they leave the 8th grade program from all 3 buildings, they enter and transition into the RHS high school early college program and then extend for years beyond. Again, I'd like to welcome our students. Thank you for all coming, and we look forward to the journey you're about to take. At this time, cruisers and early college students, please stand. Members of the school board, it is my pleasure to introduce the Cruising into Your Future and Early College Preparatory Academy students to the Richmond Community School Board of Trustees. Members of the board, please welcome Cohort 8, or the class of 2021, to the Cruising and Early College Prep Academy of Richmond Community Schools. Bravo.
Now, before you don't think you're sitting down, I want you to turn around and show those beautiful faces to the people at the back of the room. Give them a big hand, folks. They have worked hard to get here. Well, we're obviously off to a wonderful start. Congratulations, each and every one of you. Work very hard. You remember the picture you saw in the DVD of that giant group of kids standing on a college campus? That was the two programs together and some other kids that joined along the way. You will have a wonderful future. So do your best, and we thank you for working so hard so far. We're going to allow folks to exit one row at a time out into the hallway and out into the foyer. You are dismissed, and don't leave any cake behind because I wouldn't want to eat it all, okay? All right, so thank you very much, and thank you again, parents and families, for coming. Wonderful, just wonderful.
Dr.
Thanks to
Schlichty,
all of you.
Dr. Schlichty, thank you.
Thank you. And boys and girls, we proudly accept you into this wonderful program. And we hope that you have a wonderful year and that the joy of learning will be ever present. So enjoy the year and learn lots. And parents, thank you. Thank you, thank you very, very much. You are a huge part of these fine boys and girls, and your support is obviously necessary, and we thank you for that. So have a great year.
Can I ask, will this year be the first cohort to graduate all the way through?
Yeah, we have seniors this year.
I will speak to that. Be watching. Because the beloved Cohort 1 graduates this year, and I love them, along with every child in the program.
It'll
So
be great to hear their accomplishments.
be watching.
Yeah. Wow, that's hard to believe, too.
As we get toward graduation at the end of the year, could we hear some of their stories?
Yeah.
Oh, I think you'll probably hear them.
Because the same measurement periods applied, variable hours, if they're just
Yeah.
newly hired variables, so we're not sure. Newly hired full-time.
She did say she wanted to, we needed to meet one day October, and then just, it needs to be 90 days. She said that'll be a problem, because it's
Making me feel old.
yes.
What's that? Administrative period?
Yes.
You need to back it out.
Back it up. After the 7th.
Okay.
Okay, we are ready to move on to action items.
Our first action item tonight is the receipt of donations. We turn to Mrs. Scalf for the presentation of our donations.
Good evening. Tonight we have donations that total $2,170. We had a donation from the Kiwanis Club of Richmond for community partnership and engagement toward the mentoring program. And the remainder of our donations were in support of our Tech Expo that we held last week. I am actually going to let Mr. Tidrow speak to those donations as they have come before you the past couple of months in support of that Expo, and he can give you more information on exactly what they provided.
Okay. Thank you, Mrs. Calf. If I could share that. We had over 30 door prizes this Tech Expo, which brought most of the attendees back that second day and stuck around for the whole second day, which we like to do, kind of bribe them. But we really appreciate the donations, and I wanted to point out that Bridget Hazelbaker and Debbie Campbell went out and secured these donations and did a lot of footwork and a lot of phone calls and so forth. But the donations here are local restaurants and services that you can see on the web. I don't want to go through the whole list, but we had a great success on people getting these door prizes, and they really appreciate it. And if we do it again next year, we'll probably do the same route with those local door prizes. So thank you.
And tonight, we ask you to accept these donations on behalf of the school, and we thank all of the vendors and the businesses that continue to support us in all of our endeavors.
Okay, I need a motion, please. Motion made by Aaron Stevens, seconded by Kelly Baumgartner. Comments or questions? Thank you to all of them. That is appreciated. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Our next recommendation in the form of an action item comes to us from our Director of Student Support, Misty Hollis. I'll let her present this request.
As you all know, because you approve it, we have our student code of conduct that we approve for the district, but buildings are allowed to also create a handbook just for their building. And so tonight I'm submitting 2 more buildings, Charles Elementary and Elizabeth Starr Academy. This is the first year Elizabeth Starr Academy is having a handbook. And what is on the web is the corrected version that needed to be submitted to you. So requesting that those be approved.
Motion made by Kelly Baumgartner, seconded by Dixie Robinson. Comments or questions? Dixie.
In the Charles handbook, they still had last year's vision, RCS vision, instead of this year's, so.
That is correct. That was her choice to leave those.
Okay.
It's been pointed out, but I think she's chosen to leave those for this year. I think it also has to do with the timing of maybe printing as well for the school year to start. But I will be happy to do a follow-up and see if there's, I do believe when you walk into Charles, you see the vision statement that's on the wall. I know that that's going to be changed.
And if they have it posted electronically, they should be able to fix that.
Yeah. So we will definitely reflect the new mission and vision.
Hopefully, somehow the parents will be communicated with that we do have a new mission and vision.
I will work with her on that.
They do have the mission, it's just the vision
Okay.
statement.
Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Our next recommendation pertains to our school physician agreement. Mrs. Bergdahl may present that.
Thank you, Dr. Boroff. This is agreement every year that we have with a doctor from the Pediatric Internal Med Center. We have this in case there is, I don't want to use the word epidemic, but if we have any severe issues concerning our student health services, that we would acquire the experiences of a doctor that would give us extra advice on how to have things treated. I think we were in agreement with Dr. Ryder when we had the H1N1 flu symptoms. So this is agreement. We come and the doctor that we have is Dr. Dreyer, and she is stationed at the Pediatric Med Center, and so I ask your approval for this agreement for this year. Thank you.
Okay, and a motion made by Dixie Robinson, seconded by Jeff Slifer. Comments or questions?
Short and sweet.
Short and sweet. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Now we are ready to go on to our second public commentary. Seeing no public, I guess we will move on to board reports and old business.
We have several items to talk about. One is, I'll let Mrs. Baumgartner begin. It has to do with candidates for school board elections.
Yes, and I wanted to say, first of all, that I'm going to go back and try to find, if anyone is interested in more information afterward, they can go to the Indiana School Board Association on the web, and the school board candidate election procedures will give you all the information that you need. We do have 3 members that will have to file again for candidacy, so anyone else from the community that would like to file can go to the county voter registration office and get a petition. You have to sign it, and you have to have 10 other people sign it, registered voters. I believe that the requirements are that you are to be 18 years of age, that you're a registered voter, and it's stated on the web that you have to have lived in the district 1 year prior to running for office. I think it used to be 2, and I think that changed. Isn't that right, Mr. Cross? Didn't there used to be a longer waiting, or?
We had 2, and I think it may have been changed to 1.
Yeah, that's what they said was 1 on.
I'd have to check.
Today is the first day. You can file a petition, July 23rd. The last day to file a petition is Friday, August 22nd at noon. If you have any questions and would like to talk to any of the board members, you can go on our website at www.rcs.k12.in.us, and there's a portion of the website that has all the school board candidates' names and email addresses, and we'd be happy to help you out with any questions. Then also, Dr. Bork, if you want to tell them about what School Board Association is doing for.
The School Boards Association holds regional school board candidate forums, and the first one is tomorrow. I shouldn't say the first one, but there is one tomorrow for our region. It's at Muncie. However, there will also be another one at Avon Middle School near Indianapolis on August 4th, another one on August 20th at the Center Grove High School auditorium. And the topics included in these forums talk about the roles, the responsibilities of being a board member, ethics statements, legal responsibilities, compliance with the open door law. The cost of each of these is $35. That includes receiving a school board candidate's kit. It contains information on the financial, legal, and ethical aspects of serving on a board. Each of these forums is from 6:30 to 9 at those sites, and you may access information at the school board's site or call our office, and we'll make sure that you receive a hard copy, if that's what you wish, for registration for those purposes. The registration is through the Indiana School Boards Association, not this office, but we can get that information for you at that point. Anything from the rest of the board members on that note? I'd also like to draw attention to an upcoming vacancy that we're going to have in the school district. As everyone knows, Chad Bolzer has been selected among many people to become the new president of the local Ivy Tech campus. And we're extremely proud of Chad for that accomplishment, and we think the Ivy Tech Selection Committee did a nice job of selecting a qualified and quality individual. However, we hate to lose him. I said this comes with some mixed emotions here. I want what's best for him and for Ivy Tech, but I can't imagine a future of Richmond High School without him. Well, we're going to have to start imagining that and getting along with it. We are posting the position of athletic director, and that posting is open right now, and it will be through August 13th. And at that time, we'll close that posting and begin reviewing the candidates. We are selecting right now a review committee, screening committee, to assist Mrs. Wolpe in making that decision to present a person for that particular spot to you for approval. That will happen sometime after August 13th. I can't exactly give you the timeline, but the reason I wanted to talk about this was we are up to 7, would that be right, Mrs. Stewart?
We are up to 7.
7 applicants have already filed. We know that some of these applicants are high-quality individuals, and we expect several more high-quality. And the reason we have that expectation is that Mr. Bolzer and his crew have done a great job of promoting Richmond athletics, and it does receive some statewide recognition, and I have no doubt that we'll be receiving applicants from many different places. Anything else on that?
Credentials needed for that particular position?
Well, let's see, minimum credentials. Valid Indiana teacher and/or administrative certification desirable. Ability to organize and supervise a total sports program, not just necessarily the high school program. Previous coaching experience is advisable, preferable. A reputable background working with youth, excellent human relations skills. Mrs. Stewart, is there an absolute requirement for administrative certification and teacher certification?
I don't believe so.
I don't either.
I don't think there's a license for that.
We would prefer that, but we're examining all applicants who have otherwise interesting experiences that would qualify them for that. I would remind people, Mr. Bolzer has been in that position for, what, 7 years, 6 years? It's been a while. He came from a basketball coaching and teaching background. And so I don't know that he had administrative credentials at that point.
No.
So we are open-minded on that. Any other questions on that? Though it's been in the newspaper, I also want to underscore the efforts of some of our staff. These are staff members at Test, who are organizing a yard sale to raise funds for their colleague Laura Tobey's medical expenses. They are hosting this sale on the 26th, this coming Saturday. They're setting up tables, and drop-offs for this yard sale can be from 8 to 10, and at that point, from 10 to 4, they are actually conducting the sale. It says that they're not pricing the items. They're not pricing the items, but they're accepting donations. And we hope to see many people coming out to support not just the staff, but Mrs. Tobey especially. Okay. I wanted to let the board know I'm not sharing our strategic plan tonight, but it's well underway, and it will be ready for your next meeting. I hope to have that in an update so you can see it before the next meeting even, but we are working on that. Tomorrow is the first official meeting with our principals and secretaries that we host, so that means the year is off and running. We have an administrative retreat tomorrow afternoon, and the year is underway. We meet with new teachers next week, and we'll have our bus trip through Richmond. So if you see the big red express pulling through, and I'm on there with a microphone in my hand, you'll know what's happening. That happens next week. Mrs. Stewart, anything regarding the new teachers, new staff?
Now how many do we have?
We're about 40. About 40, 42.
Teachers?
Yes, teachers. Well, other than I was asked if board members would be allowed to drop in to meet the new teachers, that's fine. Early Thursday morning would be great because the cabinet will be Friday. If you come in about 8, because that'll be introductory time.
On Thursday?
On Thursday, next week, Thursday, the 31st.
Some of us are retired.
Well, okay.
So will you be here, it will be here in the
Here in
boardroom?
this
That means you
room.
have no excuse not to be here today.
I was going to say the same thing.
Glad you said that, Jack.
Backfired again.
You wouldn't be expected to stay during the whole session, but if you come first thing in the morning, that's a good time to get to meet them.
We have many activities happening right now, and I'd like for Mr. Tidrow to talk about a little frustration we had today, and if any new or any parents are watching, this may be informative for them especially. Go ahead.
Right. Thank you, Dr. Morf. Part of our online enrollment registration process that's organized by Misty Hollis's department is going on to our parent portal of our Power School system. Today we had an outage, but we're back online since about 3:45 this afternoon. So if you spent some frustrating time earlier, please go back on, get yourself registered. If you are new to the area and want to become a student, we also have a link there with a new enrollment process as well. So come to our website, wearerichmond.com, and on the front page you'll see a couple of links to the new school area. But we apologize for that inconvenience, and we're watching that issue. That Power School is going to correct in the near future, but we're up and running, and please come back. And since within about 20 minutes after we went online, we had about 7 parents register, so they were right on there. They were watching things. Misty Hollis's department did a good job of using social media, Twitter, Facebook, to get the message out that we had the outage and then we're back up. So, right? Good.
Thank you. Karen?
If I might add one thing to that, this year the online program to pay book fees has changed slightly from years past. In the past, the program, you could choose your student if they were an elementary student, and it would automatically have the fees generate for you. This year, you have the ability to enter the fee that you will pay. So a note to parents that that is a change from last year, that there will be a blank field that you will enter the amount of book fees that you're going to pay on your student. This is not a change for high school parents, but for middle school and elementary students, this will be a little bit different than in years past.
Thank you. Is that it?
I think so.
Okay. We're ready for the review of upcoming meetings and events.
Well, I'd like to pass on the preview of the upcoming meetings and events. We're still working on that agenda. I will say this, in the upcoming meeting, we will have a review of the beginning of school. And that's also a new topic that will be on for next month, and right now it escapes me what that topic is. Do you remember, Ally, what you put down for this? Nursing? Nursing is one of the topics.
Attendance.
I thought we just did nursing.
Student services.
Student services. So that will also be featured, and we'll have a whole new video and recognition of personnel at that point.
Yeah, and I would also like to probably point out that the DOE will be releasing the state results for ISTEP on July 31st. And they will release those and release them to the media and post them on Compass simultaneously. So.
Now, will that include the state averages?
Yes, the state averages by grade, by subject area.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
Susie?
I just had a question because we won't, maybe it'll just be in the update, I'll just trust that how board can assist or add to the start of school activities. I mean, what kinds of expectations?
On the first day, the board historically has set out and attempted to greet students and teachers, and what we ought to do is probably meet, if board members are interested, we like to try to cover as many buildings simultaneously as we can, so we'll work on that.
Thank you.
Okay, press conference. Anyone from the press have any questions?
My question is, what seats on the board are coming up?
We have two at large, and one, that's a district.
She didn't say who. She said
Dixie Robinson's is a district
My seat, his seat.
seat, or whatever it's called. But the other are at large.
is Dixie?
Do you
One,
know?
District
West Side.
1 or A, it used to be A, it's 1 now, right?
One.
District 1?
I think it's, I'm pretty sure it's
Think.
1.
Question, I would have to look.
It says on the website, if you look up, I'm pretty sure it's District 1.
Anything else? Okay. Well, we are ready to be adjourned. What?
We got executive session.
Yeah, we're still adjourned here.
Yeah.
Good.